You guys point me in the direction of where the air is fresh, okay, in the city center of Rome, because I've never seen it. Ciao, y'all. NaturallyKenya here, and welcome back to my channel. I know, look, no, don't say anything. I know. I haven't been here in quite a while. I think my last upload was my marathon video. I actually ran a marathon in Prague, which was an insane thing to do, and I felt the after effects for at least 1 week, really 2 weeks. I don't know who runs marathons, but hats off to you, because I did not recover for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks, like feeling in my own skin 2 weeks. But yeah, so I'm back, and I just want to say hello again, or ciao, y'all. And I see there are a few new subscribers here, so I want to say hello and thank you for joining the group here. I just want to let you know who I am. So my name is Kenya. Yes, like the country, and I'm an American girl living abroad in Rome, Italy, and sharing all of my experiences. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload. So I thought it would be a great introduction to, me coming back again online on YouTube, to also set this up with kind of like an answering like your life in Italy questions or life in Rome questions, because Rome is where I live specifically. And yeah, I just thought it would be a great start to, getting back online again. I've just been traveling for work. I was in Valencia, Panama over the last few months, and really just getting back into my normal routine, like gym without all the running and the marathon training. And yeah, I'm just happy to be back. I actually think I am going to run another marathon, but that's to be confirmed, because I don't have the same motivation like I did for the first one. I don't know, it just kind of went away. So let's see. I'm still doing the runs and the plan and blah, 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 but I don't know if I'll actually finish it. I might just focus back on Pilates and stretching and gaining flexibility again, but let's see. Anyway, let's get started on these life in Italy questions. I have a few here. And so I wanted to get started first on basically touching on a few of the frequent questions that I get from people that are coming to visit Rome as a tourist or even living here. And I thought it'd be a great place to start. So let's jump in to the first one. So a lot of people say hey, what are the must visit attractions when you come? Look, as an engineer, me personally, the Pantheon unmatched. I'm sorry. The Pantheon for me is a gem. It's one of the best structures, in my opinion. Still the largest unsupported concrete dome in the world. In my opinion, that's number one. The Pantheon, of course, the Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps. You can't miss the Colosseum. By the way, you need to book those tickets very far in advance, because there's so many tourists back in the city that they sell out in advance. So just letting you know now, for all of these attractions, you have to book in advance. Same with the Vatican museums, as well as the Sistine Chapel. I would say those are some of the main attractions you need tickets for, that you can't really miss. Just off the top of my head, I probably missed one or two, because Rome is so full of everything. So in addition, I would say the squares you can't miss. There are obviously a few. I mean, there's so many. Piazza di Spagna, also Campo dei Fiori, Piazza Navona, Piazza Venezia, so that's the main piazza that you'll actually see the typical roundabout, and the wedding cake building, also called the Altare della Patria. You'll see that as well as one of the things you can't miss. But there's so much to see, guys, and so much to do, but I think those cover the main highlights you have to see. So a lot of people ask me, how do you describe the food in Rome, right? I would say that it is based on simplicity. A lot of the Italian dishes you may eat while you're in the country. So it's not usually heavy on a lot of herbs, spices. You might find peperoncino, the small spicy pepper. You may find that. But besides that, everything in the Italian cuisine to me is very simple, but also very healthy. I definitely think a lot of it is. I mean, the pasta, you could probably eat it every day and still not gain weight, so that's great. Okay, weigh the grams. But you know what I mean? I feel like it's less, I don't know. I just feel like it's just better here. I don't know, sorry, I'm biased. But some of my favorite dishes would have to be carbonara. That's probably my number one. If I go out, I will have that as a classic Roman dish. People also like cacio e pepe. I love a supplì before I eat a pizza. It's like this deep fried ball of gooiness, rice, some ragu. It's like a cheese center, it's delicious. And of course you have Roman style pizza, thin, crispy, also delicious. I don't have a favorite pizza. And then of course for dessert, you have to try gelato, take a stroll and go taste a gelato as well, because that's really classic. So some people ask me, okay, so what do these Romans really do or Italians really do that is kind of different than the rest of us? I think they're really into this passeggiata culture. So it's like when you go on a long stroll at some part of the day. Sometimes it's like after dinner or just to observe the shops with your friends, look at the storefronts, just catch up with your friends on a long walk. It's really, really nice, honestly. And I think it's something that we should adopt a bit more in the States where I'm from. But the thing is, it's a bit difficult because a lot of the places that we have, like in the suburbs or even sometimes in the city center in the States, aren't necessarily walkable. So you can't really do a passeggiata. You know, as a pedestrian, it's not really pedestrian friendly. So that's the negative side. But I think it's something that really is incorporated into Italian culture and something I really, really enjoy. And then people also ask me a lot of the time, like, what is the best way to get around Rome? And I always say that the best way is by foot. So if you do come to Rome, I would say stay in the city center if you can and your budget allows, so you can just go around on foot. To me, it's the best way to experience the alleyways, the people, and the culture is always by foot. But if you have to, I would say you can take the metro. If you are trying to save money, stay along one of the metro stops. And that could actually be a good budget-friendly option for you. Like stay along one of the stops along maybe line B would be the best for you, because that's also the line with the Colosseum and also the Monte neighborhood on the Cavour stop. But if you want to be like on the Piazza di Spagna side, that's going to be Metro A. So something just think about the red line. Something just think about, you always have the option to really stay along the lines for both if you're trying to save money. But if you can, I definitely say stay in the city center because it's where all the action is. There are also buses and trams, but I don't feel like they're as reliable when it comes to arriving on time. Sometimes the time is definitely not accurate. You'll waste your whole day waiting for a bus and it may not even arrive. So as a tourist, I would say if the bus does not come or you're not along a metro line, you may just want to bite the bullet and get a taxi. It'll probably be faster, especially if you're in a group. But again, the taxis come at a higher cost. So it just depends on what your budget is and where you're staying in the city. A lot of people say, so what are the like off the beaten path neighborhoods and attractions that maybe people miss the first time they're in Rome? And I would say the first is probably Trastevere. Now it's gained a lot of traction in what's always been popular, but I feel like maybe more publicized in recent years. And I believe the first time I was in Rome, I didn't even go to Trastevere, which is crazy to think about. But it's one of the most, I consider it to be a very touristic area with a lot of restaurants that are a bit touristic. But it is really charming in terms of places to go out with your friends at night, have a cocktail or a glass of wine. It's really, really lively for sure. And the streets are always packed with people. So I would say if you do come to Rome, I would consider visiting Trastevere. That may not be on your main, tourist circuit, so to speak. And I think it's a good kind of nighttime place to do a passeggiata, for example. Another would be probably Testaccio, which is really known for the food scene, and then obviously Monte. I don't believe I made my way to Monte the first time I was in Rome either. That was because we weren't necessarily staying near that neighborhood. And I feel like just trends kind of change over the years where some neighborhoods become more popular than others, et cetera, et cetera. So Monte is actually a really, really great one for vintage shopping. They have a lot of boutiques. Also a lot of places to do aperitivo there too. They have the nice wine bars. So just things to keep on the map as well. I would say Trastevere, Testaccio, and Monte are some good options. So some people ask me, okay, so what about the nightlife? Like I want to dance, I want to drink, I want to go out. For me personally, and I honestly mean me, my personal taste, I don't feel like Rome is that girl in the sense of the like plethora of places to go. I think like you'll find a list of many, many restaurants to go to, right? But for the nightlife scene, I say in the city center, You probably have the Sanctuary, which is located kind of near the park near the Coliseum. And then you also have the cocktail bar that's one of the 50 best cocktail bars called Drink Kong. So I would say go there as well. The Sanctuary too may help to book in advance. And then there's also kind of a once in a lifetime unique 50 best cocktail bar experiences. And that's in the hotel Palazzo Manfredi. It's actually a small luxury hotel, and the cocktail bar on the bottom floor that has a view of the Coliseum is called the Court. So those are some of the ones I would recommend in the city center, but the Court is more for like aperitivo at sunset, seeing the Coliseum, having a cocktail. Drink Kong is more also socializing over drinks with your friends. If you wanted to go dance, I would say probably the Sanctuary would be the best place late at night. And I also believe they stay open a bit later than the other places that close around 2. So some also ask me like, what are the best etiquette techniques or the cultural norms when you're in Rome? And I would always say, guys, when you go into a shop or anything, just say buongiorno or buonasera, which means good morning or good evening, because people find it very rude if you just walk in a shop and don't say anything at all. Even if they don't say anything to you, say it to them. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if you respond to me or not. But I just want to like set the level of respect when you're walking into shops and going shopping and things like that. Just set the level of like, hey, buonasera, buongiorno. It takes no time whatsoever. Just let them know like, hey, I'm here and, you know, I'm just going to be looking around and things like that. I think it's really important to just address people that way. Or you could say the formal hello, which is salve. And if it's like someone younger, maybe your age, you know, and they don't necessarily need the same level of respect or authority, so to speak, and it's informal, I would say just ciao and be done. Also, it's really important to always say thank you. So grazie, guys. It takes nothing to say thank you if somebody brings you something. It's not grazie, it's grazie. That E is an E in Italian. So take that with you as well, and you may hear them respond with like, you're welcome, that's prego. So just keep that in your word bank. Also, as tempting as it may be for some tourists, please don't litter in the city. Like some people just leave their trash outside the doors, or they don't want to throw their cups or their gelato little cups and spoons in the right places. Just don't litter. Okay, so a lot of people also ask me about the cost of living in Rome and how it compares to other Italian cities. Now, I would say that it's probably ranked number 2. Milan has definitely taken off in recent years in terms of the international crowd. I honestly feel like since Brexit, it's really become more of an international hub. It was never not popular, but now I feel like it's even more so. So I would say it's cheaper than Milan, but like I said, the city center, it's not necessarily cheap. I would still say the prices are more or less like what I compared it to a few years ago. I said the cost of living in the city center of Rome and where I'm from in Texas, Houston, are more or less the same. And people are like, oh, great, that's fantastic. But the earning power in Houston is very different from Italy. So what I'm saying is it really does not, how can I say, it doesn't equate. It's not the same. Like, it's not the same. Like, oh, it's the same as living in Houston, fine, or another major city in the US. I can come on over. It's not the same, guys, if you're trying to build your life here. So I would say, unless you're freelance and can take some of your clients here, it's really something to think about. Or just depending on the stage of your life, like if you're a student, you probably don't need to live like a luxurious life. But if you want a comfortable life, you'll definitely have to make your Italian plan that way. And if you choose to stay in Italy, you're going to have to kind of construct that plan very, very intelligently, okay? And obviously come with a savings account. But of course, that being said, you do have local markets. You have various dining options. You have grab and go pizza, like Pizza Italia, you can take that. So it's like you have cheaper options in the city, but a lot of the times, some of the restaurant experiences you may want to experience once while you're here, they may be on the more expensive side, especially if you're looking for something more gourmet, let's say. Also, if you want to utilize the public transport system, you'll definitely save that way on cost. But again, you got to remember that Rome is a major tourist destination, so you will have a lot of times where the costs are not as low as you expect them to be, and that's because they're kind of marketed towards the tourist sector, right? And then of course, people do ask me like, what are the major problems you think Rome faces? Like, is there anything that you think will impact me and my life here? Things like that. And I would just say, or the things that are annoying basically about living in Rome. And I would say the main one is really the trash issue. That's number one for me. I mean, there's always trash everywhere as long as you're in the city center anyway. I don't know if it's any better in the outskirts, but from what I've seen driving around, not necessarily. The trash issue is probably number one of the things that annoy me. I think there's also this need to balance the preservation of all these historic sites. So every once in a while you see a tourist do something absolutely insane, like flying their drone into the Colosseum or graffitiing something, or carving their name into the side of the Colosseum. Something just really, really dumb. Honestly, I don't know how else to call it. Just something that's not so intelligent. You see that happening as well. And it's also really unfortunate because it brings this negative aspect into the tourism sector, which really keeps the city alive, right? Also, of course, you always have a lot of traffic, and that creates a lot of air pollution. Every once in a while, I open my phone just to check the air quality in Rome, and it always says scarsa or molto scarsa, which means terrible and very terrible. So that's also something to keep in mind. I think that's why it's always better to go to the countryside. At least you have fresh air. Those particles are not getting in your lungs and causing sicknesses. But the air quality is pretty terrible in Rome. Some people say it has improved, and I'm like, when, where, how? Because every time I check the app, it says terrible and very terrible. So you guys point me in the direction of where the air is fresh, okay, in the city center of Rome, because I've never seen it. Also, one of the major challenges I would say is the public transportation system, because every time they kind of dig down, they're actually building a few more stops on Metro C line now. Every time they dig down to build a new station or some stairs, they find something, right? Because Rome is this ancient city, right? So that's also, I don't want to say that's annoying, but it's just to be expected. It's Rome, right? So the public transportation system is not the best in the world. We're not talking about a New York City here, but it will work and get you where you need to go. So I always suggest to people, stay along a metro line. Even if you're looking for an apartment, stay within like a 5-minute walking radius of a metro station if you can, because it may make your life a lot easier if you don't have a car. But even if you do, it's still really difficult to get around. Okay, guys, I think that's all for this video. If you have any other questions, leave them for me below or shoot me a DM. I haven't been good at checking those on Instagram lately, but I will try to do my best. Look, guys, I'm catching up. So if I ignored you, have not replied to you, I'm so sorry. And I'll try to get back to you like as soon as possible. But yeah, guys, that's all for this video. I hope I helped a bit on answering your life in Italy / Rome questions. And I hope to be back more consistently this year. It's just been crazy. I think everything should be calm, keyword be calm, for the last half of the year. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. You can see a lot of my life updates there. If I'm not here on YouTube, which I'm trying to do uploads every Sundays, sometimes Thursdays, if I'm being ambitious, you can definitely find me over there pretty much on a daily basis, at least posting some of my stories from my everyday life. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao, y'all.